Welcome back, ballers. How we doing, everybody? Thanks
Hello,
for
everyone.
tuning in. Cody, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me again, and thanks to everyone for coming over for my stream. Appreciate you all. Much love to you all.
Always. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm excited about this one, especially since this was kind of very impromptu, but I think very fitting with the latest news, especially with the date May 31st that you were talking about. The love themes just keep on going, don't they?
I don't think it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. It's probably been around a lot longer than even I caught on to it. So.
Yeah, it certainly has, but now that you've been following it, it continues to build, you know? Just like any riddle, you know? Usually the riddles go on forever, really, to be honest.
Adam says, "Hey, dudes." Sarah says,
Adam.
"Hello." If anybody in the comments or the chat really quick can just give us a thumbs up that you guys can hear us, that would be great. Before we get started. What's up, guys? Just came in from Cody's Live. Telling people about your channel. Really appreciate that, Travis. Thank you. Coffee Girl gave us the thumbs up. So good to go. So Cody, thanks again, man, for kind of last minute carving out some time in your day. I know it's 9 or 10 o'clock your time out in Germany at the moment. So really appreciate it. As always, I appreciate your support, you know, with my new channel. But for those new here to the channel, I go by AJ or Balll Don't Lie. You guys may notice if you look at my past videos, the very first video I ever did was called Love is in the Air. Really stemmed off from Tiger Woods' comments saying love is in the air in response to his comments about his relationship with Vanessa Trump. And Cody, you and I had kind of some sidebar conversations just about that alone. And you've been talking a lot about what's the quote exactly? All is fair in love and war, right?
Yep. Yeah. All is fair in love and war, which just pretty much means anything goes when you're trying to win someone's love or someone's war, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And once again, I mean, this web of love and how it overlaps with the web of war. I mean, it's getting crazy at this point, especially when we just think about the last 2 weeks of us having our weekly live stream with Rambo. Rambo talked a lot about how now that we're entering in, correct me if I'm wrong here, Cody, but we're entering into the time of Sirius this year where, you know, it changes every year. The date changes, but Sirius will be completely blocked by the sun or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but he essentially was saying, like, we're in the time of the dog themes and just keep an eye on that. And sure enough, we got many to talk about. So,
yep, the heliacal rising or setting of Sirius is in May usually, and that goes for 70 days until July usually. So the dates this year, I'm actually don't remember which ones Rambo said for this year they were, but that's usually the pattern. It's the 70 days where you can't see it because it goes down below the horizon. So it's known as the setting. And so the dog stuff, and the dog stuff is always big because the dog is the anagram or the backwards of God, and God is love, as you have written here. Dog is love. So the dog is intimately connected with love. The dog is man's best friend, loves his companion, right? And in fact, if you think about dogs and animals in general, they bring some of the happiest feelings in the world for most humans. Most humans don't even get happiness from other humans anymore. It's usually from their pets. So,
right. Well, and we touched on our last, you know, one-on-one live stream called Love You, and that was all about Adam Sandler's stand-up special last year, which sucked. But there's a part in his stand-up where a dog comes on stage, you know, and we talked about how Adam Sandler's full name overlaps in 2 of the 4 base ciphers with Dogstar.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, there's a lot to be said about, you know, dogs having unconditional love for their owners. And you're absolutely right, man. I mean, I've been blessed to grow up with dogs throughout the majority of my life, and there's been small periods where they perish, but miss them very much. Sven Dabs says, "What's up, dogs?" So
what's
no,
up, man? I like Sven Dabs. He's been a watcher for a long time. He even came on a live stream once with me. He's a cool guy. But yeah, what's up, dog?
Yeah, very cool. What's up, dogs? What's up, ballers? It's good to see everybody. Not sure how long we'll go today. Once again, Cody, I always want to be mindful of your time as well. But once again, really appreciate you carving out some time to hop on with me and chat with the community a little bit about, once again, this ongoing theme with not only love, that's kind of where it starts, but once again, now the whole dog themes that overlap on top of this. Once again, Rambo was saying, hey, we're entering now the time of Sirius, and keep an eye out for dog themes. And sure enough, we just touched on it on Tuesday. Clay Thompson's dog passed away on JFK's birthday, who was assassinated in Dallas, and Clay Thompson's now in Dallas. And we touched on all of that, so make sure to go back and watch that stream. But sure enough, a story that I was a little late to the party too. I would say maybe a day or two late, but was you can see my screen, right, Cody?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was the story about John Brinkus. I think that's how you pronounce it, but I hadn't seen him in a very long time, but I remember him very much with that show called Sports Science. It was an interesting show. He would just break down all different types of sports, different athletes, and really kind of compare, or maybe not compare, but just kind of go into a much more analytical approach with like for example, how hard Ray Lewis can hit a player on the football field and compare it to, a car smashing into a brick wall kind of stuff, right? That was kind of the gist of what that show was about. But to really just get to the meat and potatoes of this, notice that he died at 54. That's a big Jesuit number, as we know. But more importantly, it's a big love number, right? I maybe put these slides out of order here. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me put it this way, you guys. So the story is that John Brinkus passed away from depression and suicide. I haven't seen any specifics about exactly how he, left the world stage, if you will, but that really is besides the point. But a lot of what is said in these articles is that Brinkus experienced extreme depression, especially after he sold off this show, Sports Science, to ESPN. From my research, I saw that the show actually originated on FSN, which I believe is Fox Sports Network. And for as long as he was the producer, the director, the face of the show, I believe he only ran it for like 2 or 3 seasons before it got sold off. And so he sells it off to ESPN. And sure enough, ESPN in love, perfect Grand Slam match, as Rambo likes to say, in the Bay Ciphers. And I want to say the first time you jumped on with me and Rambo, right, we were talking about love in 54, right? The 5D connections. And how, you can only ascend into 5D through love. And you were pointing out how D is the 4th letter. Right. 5D, love, 54. But sure enough, ESPN and love, perfect overlap in all the Bay ciphers of the English language. I thought that was incredible. And of course, he died at 54. So he dies at 54, love 54, ESPN 54. He died because of his depression, selling off his show to ESPN.
He essentially sold his love to ESPN, essentially.
Sure.
He loved the show. He got depressed because of it, apparently.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense.
And the other thing, Cody, I mean, I would have to go back and maybe, screen record or something, but I know for sure you were before May 31st, the date that he was reportedly dead, you said that you were keeping an eye on May 31st. And that was specifically because of the reason of that's the date that leaves 214 days left in the year. And obviously, Valentine's Day is written 2/14. So shout out to you, Cody, on that. I mean, I don't know if there was any way we could get ahead of John Brinkus being the latest one in the news, but you did. As a witness, I saw you were saying, May 31st is really interesting to me because of this exact connection. And sure enough, with the love connections tying right up with love and ESPN, sure enough, here we are with another death in the news in the world of sports and entertainment. So
I just remember
remember
when I originally saw that date, because as I told people, and I told you, before I even mentioned that date in the stream we did, I talked about how that number 214 was hugely connected with the Pope's death. And the reason I was looking at that date originally, even well before that, was that I figured we might get something on that day connecting to the Pope, or some sort of death or something like that, or something to do with love, because not only the 214, but it also had 18 date numerology, like love equals 18, had 81 date numerology, like Venus equals 18 and 81, Venus, the god of love. So yeah, and not only that, it's the 151 day of the year, and that's Jesus Christ in gematria.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, known for his love for humanity, and also
the burning Sacred Heart,
right, and also what's interesting about this, and maybe connection with the Pope, is this might be connected with J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance was the last person to see Pope Francis, and J.D. Vance's birthday, most of every year, his birthday, except for leap years, falls on the 214 day of the year. And he was the last one to see Pope Francis, who died on 21/4 and went in the hospital on 214. So yeah, it's been this riddle with this 214, and it's not surprising that we got this. And with what you found with the 54s connecting all of it, it's just icing on the cake and just makes complete sense. So,
well, and another thing too, Cody, right, that we talked about just on Tuesday with Rambo, as well as in our live stream, Love You, about the Adam Sandler stand-up, just going back to the title slide here. Let's not forget about the dog connection with love, just with a tennis ball. You know what I mean? And how the number 0 means love in tennis. And sure enough, besides peeing on a fire hydrant, when you think of like a dog and anything else you can associate it with, wouldn't you say a ball or a tennis ball specifically?
Oh,
so
yeah.
The dog and the tennis ball is very much connected. And I guess one other thing I can add on to the Pope comments that you just made, call this a reach for what it's worth, but going back to the NBA Finals, like we talked about on Tuesday as well, about how the Thunder are specifically connected to love, just because it's literally patched on their jersey. They're sponsored by Loves, and now they're playing the Indiana Pacemakers, if you will, and shoot, I was losing my train of thought. It was essentially like, so you got those love connections, and then now with the dog themes, I guess the reason why it goes back to these dog connections once again is because of Sirius, the dog star, right? You and Rambo have been way ahead of that than myself, but I wanted to share with you guys part of the story of the death of John Brinkus was, he's been depressed for many, many years after, selling off sports science to ESPN. Once again, perfect overlap with the word love. But they even say that Brinkus credited his dog, Zeppelin, with rescuing him by tugging on his jeans and pulling him out of his funk, And it's like, okay, that's very interesting that they decide to add that in there as well. And the other thing too, Cody, I'm still working on kind of crisping up a couple other slides or visuals for the audience, but when I looked at the show Sports Science, the very first episode was called Human Flight. And what have we been talking about, all year. I mean, once again, shout out to Rambo. I mean, a lot of his stuff goes back to the upside down plane crash back on Michael Jordan's birthday, Air Jordan. And the thumbnail they show us, it was right in front of Air Canada. And we are living in the year of plane crashes, mainly, you know. So there's definitely an air theme, and it goes back to one of the first things we said. Love is in the air, going back to Tiger Woods' comments about his relationship with Vanessa Trump. So I found that very interesting. Human Flight was the name of the very first episode of Sports Science. And I'll just take a pause there for a second.
Well, I just want to add, connecting with the flight stuff, that there might be, well, first of all, human flight equals 119. So that's interesting. And human flight, connecting with this guy, he was born in 1971. Well, 1971 just happens to be the birth year also of the transportation secretary, Sean, what's his name? What's his name now? I can't remember his last name. Whoever the transportation, Sean something, he's born in 71, and he's born on a Mercury day. Remember, Mercury is the god of transportation. Mm-hmm. Sean, do you know the guy's name? I can't think of his name.
I don't. I'm not entirely sure who you're referring to.
The new transportation secretary that took office one day before the crash in DC. Me and Derek
Sean
from
Duffy.
Sean Duffy, yes. So Sean Duffy, he took office. Remember, one day before the snake year started, and one day before that plane collision with the helicopter. Okay, and that was a ritual for him because he's the transportation secretary. He's the one in charge of that. That was all connected to him taking office. He took office the day before that. Well, Sean Duffy is born the same year as this guy, right? So I want to look more into, Sean Patrick Duffy, because there was a whole Patrick riddle there, because you had Thomas Patrick Edward Brady, you had Patrick Mahomes, the Patrick, it's a big riddle. But I talked a lot about that with Mercury being the trickster and the god of transportation. And this head of transportation is born on 10/3, which is 103, like Mercury equals 103. And the fact that this guy's show started with a show called Human Flight, that's Mercury, flight, travel. Mercury has the wings on his boots. And this new transportation head also born the same year. So there's definitely something there. I'd have to check the day spans between their births to see if there's anything more, but they are born in the same year. So that might be something with that, and might also be hinting at more plane crashes or transportation incidents.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it hasn't always been plane crashes this year. Obviously, we had the bridge crash with a ship and a bridge. I mean, talk about two different forms of transportation coming to a head. But, this year really kicked off with the air themes, the air collision themes. I think I kind of showed my cards a little too early. I was still sharing my screen working on this next slide. And once again, apologies. I did not get a good night's sleep last night, so I've been kind of scrambling to whip up these visuals for the audience. But another thing I thought was really interesting, Cody, maybe if you want to share your screen, we can just pull it up doing that. If you measure from Brinkus's birthday, July 2nd, to the date of his reported death back on May 31st, it's exactly 333 days. And what did we talk about literally on our last one-on-one live stream about 333? We were connecting that with the release date of Love You, Adam Sandler's Love You, to I gotta double check exactly what I think it was his birthday or something like that, but there was that 333 connection, and we were talking about how that matters because in a time before emojis, when you would send somebody a bunch of hearts, you would text them the greater than symbol with a 3 or 3 threes, right? That's why Josh Hart wears number 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why Allen Iverson wore number 3 in the city of brotherly love, and they just won the Super Bowl, etc. So,
yeah, and the 333, I just talked about this on my stream because I literally just talked about it because Trump. So on June 11th, it will be 333 days after his assassination attempt.
oh, wow.
And if you check the time between this guy, I'll show you. If you check the time between the birth of this guy or Brinkus and Trump's birth, you're going to see what I'm talking about. This is that Mercury thing I was just talking about. So also, there's 2 connections here. So there's the Mercury years. Notice that Brinkus is born exactly 104 Mercury years after Trump. So they share a Mercury birthday, essentially.
Okay.
That's, again, a Mercury day. A Mercury birthday is 88 days. So every 88 days is another Mercury year. So that's a Mercury birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So there they share the Mercury birthday.
It's also 1,307 weeks exactly. 137 is the 33rd prime.
Well, that's what I was gonna.
Oh,
that's
okay,
what I was gonna get at because that's the 214 prime.
Oh my God, Cody! Wow, dude.
Do you understand, man? So the 333. Okay, so Trump's assassination attempt is going to turn 333 in a few days. He just died 333 days after his birthday. These two are born 137 apart, which is also the 33rd prime. His assassination attempt was on 137. Okay. Remember, why is 611 so important for the 333? Because in gematria, assassination equals 611. He just met with Mertz. And again, I know if you haven't watched my video, but again, Mertz is March, Mars is war. Remember how the First World War started with an assassination. Okay. Remember how the Second World War started with a German attack, right? So there was just a German guy in meeting Trump today, you know. So this connects back to that. But getting back on the point with the 33s, let me just bring up my slides for the 33s so I can show you what I just talked about.
Yeah.
I just showed that June 11th, again, in gematria, 611 is the gematria of assassination. June 11th will be 3 days after June 11th, or his birthday, Trump's birthday, will be 3 days after June 11th. They just found 3 World War II bombs in Germany they needed to defuse. Okay.
Down the street from where you live.
Yeah, down the street, well, literally in the same area from where this guy, he just met the Chancellor of Germany today. They found these bombs yesterday. The Chancellor of Germany literally comes from the same state where they found these 3 bombs. In the video, in their press conference today, the only things they talked about, the whole stream, was Elon Musk, who has an obsession with Mars, and they talked about world wars and Russia and the war. That's pretty much all they talked about. And Trump was dominating the conversation. Didn't even let the guy really talk. But anyway, 3 days before Trump's birthday is June 11th. And June 11th will be 333 days after his assassination attempt. Remember, his assassination attempt was at 611. Right?
Oh man, I did not remember that timestamp of when that happened. I remember it was on 13/7, 33rd prime, but
well, yeah, because because that's the big thing here and that's what, you know, we've been talking about is that the assassination equals 611. It was at 611, the attempt. And then 333 days later is June 11th, 611. And that's 33 days before the next anniversary of that attempt. And again, the day of the year that is 137. Now, we just found out that John Brinkus died 333 days after his birthday. And that means he died 33 days span before his next birthday, just like this day. And we found out that they were born 137 apart, like Trump's day. And that number is, again, 137 is the 33rd prime, but 1307 just happens to be the 214 prime.
And Brinkus died
on the day leaving 214.
Yeah. That's freaking incredible, dude. Wow. You know, back to the Pope thing too, call this a reach, but going back to the NBA finals, once again, you know, the Thunder sponsored by Loves, and we talked about how Indiana is kind of the zero city with the Indy 500, and they're connected to Love. They got 2 players playing for Arizona, the state founded on Valentine's Day 214. But like just the whole idea of shoot, what was it? Why do I keep losing my train of thought?
Oh man, that the comment in the chat, man. The comment in the chat. Sorry to cut you off, but the comment in the chat just blew my mind. Game 3 is on June 11th.
Oh, really? Oh,
so game 3, I just made all those threes connecting to June 11th and totally forgot that game 3 was on June 11th. Oh my god!
Oh my, wow. Sorry, I'm on full screen. Who shared that? That's amazing, Marty. Thank you for sharing. That's wow. So that means so game 3 is going to be in Indiana, right? Because the first 2 games are in OKC. No, what I was going to say was that there's a lot of jokes flying around about how this NBA Finals happened because of Paul George. And Paul George, I'm pretty sure I messaged you about him a couple weeks ago, actually, before the finals were even finalized. But the reason being is that Paul George played for Indiana, and he's played on a lot of other teams. He's now playing for the city of brotherly love, of all teams. But he played for Indiana and OKC. And it has just a lot to do with like the trades and stuff, because he's a big name player, but he's always kind of a big bust at the end of the day. But they're connecting Paul George to these 2 teams, and it makes me think about Pope John Paul II, right? Who was the Pope before Pope Francis, and Pope John Paul. Right. So we're talking about Paul George, and we're talking about John Brinkus. So there continues to be this kind of Pope theme, even tying up with Paul George, in my opinion, just by his name alone.
Yeah.
And his connections with the 2 teams, obviously. So I just wanted to throw that in there as well. But yeah, wow. Game 3 is on June 11th. That's
so just to reiterate for everyone, just to make it in one thing, I'm going to say it all. So June 11th is 333 days after his assassination attempt, 33 days before the anniversary of the assassination attempt. It's 3 days before his birthday. It's his Mars birthday that day, June 11th. And it's game 3 of the NBA Finals. And again, they've been talking about World War III a lot.
You know, I just noticed too, my hat has 2 3s in it. I wore the puppy bowl because of the dog connections, but look at that. There's like 2 3s on the outside.
Oh yeah, I see.
Of the logo.
I see it. Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
And Sven Dabs in the chat just shared that in the Strong's Biblical Concordance, where each word gets a number, Abaddon is the 3rd word in the Strong's Concordance.
Like I'm not sure what that means. Call me stupid, but what was that one more time?
I have my screen. I can show you on my screen if you put me up. I'll show
you.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah, hold on a second.
Can you see my screen? I don't know if you can.
I can see it. Yeah. Okay. So Abaddon.
So Abaddon, I've always connected this to Donald Trump, because in Revelation 9:11 they mention a bad dawn, right? A bad dawn. And
yeah. Okay.
It means destroyer. Again, Abaddon is the destroyer. And so there's a Strong's Concordance, right? Revelation 9. This is Revelation 9:11, dude. Like, this is what mentions this. And it's the 3rd word in the Strong's Concordance. So the Bible has basically lists all the words in the whole Bible, and they give them a number based off of the order and the alphabetical order. And it just so happens that Abaddon is 3 in the whole Bible, the 3rd word. So a destroying angel, the angel of the bottomless pit.
Speaking of the 9/11, just as a reminder for folks, Cody, you might remember game 1 when Indiana was playing New York this year. It was exactly 9,111 days from the last time that the Pacers beat the Knicks to go to the NBA Finals back in 2000. And that was off of Tyrese Halliburton's, he was practically under the basket. He shoots all the way back out to the 3-point line, throws up a heave. The ball shoots up like 30 feet in the air and goes right into the basket to push overtime. That was exactly 9,111 days from the last time that New York lost to the Pacers for Indiana to advance. So just wanted
I
to,
remember you sharing that.
yeah.
And yeah, that's crazy because now we have this final. And again, somebody in the chat's mentioning the McVay connection, but I'll reiterate that I've been on that for a while. I mean,
Yes,
at least
you have.
And what? Thank you,
Cody. Hold on a second, really quick, before I forget this. I did not put this out to my Patreon, but I had a screenshot here. Yeah, okay. This is very relevant. I got to share this. Talking about Timothy McVeigh and talking about the threes we just discussed. Take a look at this, you guys. Consider this a free pick. I'm not necessarily leaning with it entirely, but I do find it very interesting. You know Timothy McVeigh's birthday, right?
Yeah, it's April 23rd, right?
April 23rd. Yep. That's the 113th day of the year, for that matter. The Oklahoma City Thunder equals 113 in reverse Pythagorean. But look at this, Cody. I was playing around with StatMuse, and I've been looking at TJ McConnell because of the stuff that you were telling me about. TJ, T stands for Timothy. Timothy McConnell. Timothy McVeigh, right? And Timothy McVeigh died in Indiana, and McConnell plays for Indiana now. Once again, Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City Bomber. Look at this, Cody. Let me know your thoughts on this. You can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
TJ McConnell has posted four.
So in his career in the playoffs, he's sitting at 420 points.
Right.
What are the odds that he scores 3 points tonight, going back to the threes, to match Timothy McVeigh's birthday?
I mean, he's not a top scorer, is he? So I think 3 is very logical that he could just get it 3 points.
I think his over-under is like 6.5, maybe 7.5. But yeah, no, he's not really known for being a scorer. He's more of a facilitator. So I was like, yeah, I could see him, banging a 3 or something tonight, and that's it. Where he would end the game tonight in game 1. In this whole Timothy McVeigh ritual connection. Just something to keep in mind, you guys. Like I said, I didn't make it an official pick, but since we're talking about it, and you were just talking about the threes, and now we talked about Timothy McVeigh and everything about TJ McConnell, I was like, whoa, he's 3 points away from matching Timothy McVeigh's birthday, 423. So take that for what it's worth. But I just thought that was very fitting with the McVeigh connections and all the threes that we've been talking about.
That's a good observation. Today's also 322 days before his birthday. That's interesting.
Yep, that was another one. A lot of 322s. Don't forget that Clay's dog died 3 months and 22 days after Clay's birthday.
That 322 is interesting. I have to think more about that, what that might mean for him.
Well, Cody, think about, so 322, right? What does that remind you of? Mainly.
Skull and bones.
Skull and what?
Bones. Dog bones, right?
Dog bones, yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about the tennis connection with the dog and then love. And then now with the 322s, right? We were touching on that with Rambo on Tuesday. That hit me late last night. I was like, oh, skull and bones. Bones, dog bones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Boom, there you go.
I mean, other than a tennis ball, I think a dog bone is very much, when you think of a dog, you also think of bones, right?
Exactly. It's like the 3 main things you think of a dog. You think of peeing and a fire hydrant. Rambo was talking about that with that ritual of, that guy peeing on the gravestone of, the Cleveland Browns player, whose mascot is the dog. But then we also think about a tennis ball and we think about bones. So it's just amazing. Like no gematria needed, really. Just understanding the 322 connection and how it's related to skull and bones, dog bones.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think a lot of stuff does go back to the dog. Like I said, the reverse of God. And yeah, that's why I think the dog star is so a big thing for them. That's kind of what, and as Rambo has pointed out many times, and me and others, it's a very important star to them for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly just because it's the dog star, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, another image I included on the presentation on Tuesday was just really connecting back to Michael Jordan. For those that aren't familiar, Michael Jordan's connected to the dog for a number of reasons. We talked about the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven, and the last line in Clay's Instagram post about his dog was All Dogs Go to Heaven. If you look at the release date of that movie, it's the same date that Air Jordan was released, right? Shout out to Rambo. He was talking about that. But yeah, Cody, I mean, maybe if you want to share your screen again, if you just pull up the Francis Bacon or the capitals added cipher and you type in sports science, the name of the show, going back to John Brinkus, whose dog, was kind of his, I don't know, essentially what you would call him, but they talk about his dog Zeppelin. But yeah, if you just look at sports science in the capitals added cipher, which is the Francis Bacon cipher. Sorry, sports science. Yep, 217, right?
Yeah, hold on a second. 217, yep.
There you go. 217, Michael Jordan's birthday. The release date, from Rocco's death, Clay's dog, back to Michael Jordan's birthday, 217, is exactly 217 days as well. And then when you measure from Rocco's death to the release date of All Dogs Go to Heaven, it's 172 days. So just the other way that you would write Michael Jordan's birthday. So just wanted to throw that out there as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that the whole thing with Michael Jordan is always, that riddle with Michael Jordan is always there. And for me, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a whole riddle, very deep riddle with Michael Jordan and almost everything that happens in the sports world. Just from what I've seen, especially with Rambo, and yeah, we know how it is. The NBA, those players, it's not just Michael Jordan. It's Kobe, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, those big players, and the NBA is probably one of the most obvious ones when it comes to players. I mean, obviously it's in all sports, but it just seems like the NBA has the I would give it the edge when it comes to like flat out ritual, symbolism. Like I know they all have it, but again, I just think the NBA ones are like so in your face, especially with all these star players. So,
and Cody, with the screen you're sharing right now, there's two things I want to point out. Notice that it says there towards the top, it says it was originally filmed as a 12-part series that was broadcast on FSN on September 9th. You and I were talking about September 9th, weren't we? That's Adam Sandler's birthday. So going back to his Love You stand-up last year with the dog that shows up on stage. But then also in our stream on Tuesday, I was talking about another number, 324. I was talking about how from the official date that the Mavericks introduced Klay Thompson to the Dallas Mavericks, it was exactly 324 days from or before the reported death of his dog, Rocco. Well, why does that matter? Well, Rocco equals 324 in Sumerian. But notice that from the time when John Brinkus actually ran the show of sports science, look at that. Number of seasons, 3. Number of episodes, 24. So there's your 324. Once again, we were talking about that 2 days ago.
And there's your 3 too.
Well, exactly. Yeah, ran 3 seasons. Yeah, exactly.
So it was picked up, and we already connected how he died 333 days after his birthday, with 33 days before his next birthday. And the only season that was run on ESPN was season 3.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So season 3 was the season where he sold it off to ESPN, which then led him to his extreme depression, you know. But yeah, the 324s. You even got Adam Sandler's birthday in there, 9/9.
I'm seeing that his last episode was on October 20th.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, just because whenever I think of that day, I think of Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
There's always these Kamala Harris riddles going on with Trump, because she just lost the election. I noticed that, I don't ever really talk about them, but that is her birthday. And
when you add 10 plus 20, it's 30. There's your 3 again.
Yeah. And that's the 201, 102. That date is like an ultimate 201 date,
Mm-hmm.
because no matter how you write it, you get the 102 or you get the 201.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge 201 date. Another thing I see there is that's the 72nd day left in the year, and that was his birthday, so it's 7/2. So there's always something there, but these are just little things compared to what we talked about. But I think, with this, that I just had to bring up the Kamala Harris thing, because that is her birthday, and that is the day that Herbert Hoover died. And Herbert Hoover connects to the Great Depression, so that's something. So he died. Okay, he died 15 years and 223 days after his last episode.
Well, and there's your skull and bones connection too, again, right?
Yeah.
It's the reverse of 322, and skull and crossbones equals 223 in the base ciphers.
And 187 months and 11 days. So there's your homicide code.
Yep. And Brotherhood of Death. That's another name for skull and bones, equals 187.
Yep. 187 is another Brotherhood of Death thing. So they're definitely the Brotherhood of Death thing there.
Mm-hmm.
This prime number here.
Nope. Yeah, hey, Cody, really quick, if you can give me 30 seconds to a minute, I'll be right back. I just got to step out for a second. Quick second.
All right. No problem.
I'll be right back, brother.
But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Again, we'll wait for him to come back, but this clown world as it stands is a Great Depression. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, as I was saying, with the 2 to 3 days after his last episode aired, the anniversary, sports science, wouldn't be surprised if there's more here. But thank you guys all for coming in and joining today. I know a lot of you guys came over from my stream, and thanks to Sven Dabs and Elaine. Thank you, Elaine, and Marty. Hello, Pale Horse Rider. Thank you. Just hanging out in the chat, waiting for AJ to get back, and then, well, there he is.
I am back, brother. Like I told you, I'll be quick. Yeah, Pale Horse Rider, incredible finds as always. What's good, y'all? Good to see you, Pale Horse. Thanks for joining. Yeah, let's just take a second to just thank our followers and supporters. Thank you guys for all the contributions. This is why we do this, because we're all one mind, but when we come together, there's always more to add. So really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe. For those of you guys that aren't familiar with Cody's work, I mean, I doubt it. But make sure to follow Cody at Decoding with Cody, spelled with K's, 589. Yeah. So there was one other slide or one other thing, Cody, that we haven't touched on yet. We did talk about it offline. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen. It is a little messy, but we'll get to the point. You can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So really two things with this slide. If you guys notice, ESPN was originally founded on September 7th. And that can be written 9/7 or 7/9. I don't have the screenshots about, murder equaling 79. 79 being a big number when it comes to that. But just notice that from the founding date of ESPN to the reported death of John Brinkus, exactly 38 weeks on the nose. Massive death number. RIP, murder, killing, death, all 38. So wanted to point that out. But then also the other thing, Cody, we talked about was I just looked into like, what does Brinkus mean? Where does it come from? And sure enough, it means fire, burning, blaze, right? And for me, it just made me think about just all the plane crash themes going on this year. Still have Pale Horse Rider with his fire emoji up there as well. But you were telling me too that keep me honest here, that Sirius is also known as the Burning Star. Is that correct?
Yeah, burning or blazing. There's just anything burning, really. That's what they call it.
So there you go. Once again, you can't get away from these dog themes with this latest news about Mr. Brinkus.
I will say that 9/7 this year is a very important date because it's a blood moon. So that date, the very big date, we already had the huge Pi Day blood moon this year, but this blood moon is also one to watch for because it's on 9/7. We're in the year 2025. 97 is the 25th prime. Mm-hmm. And serpent equals 97 when you hear the serpent or the snake.
Well, and Cody, and notice that they were founded in 1979, 9779, the same way that you write September 7th.
And Trump's getting ready to turn 79 right now, too. Don't forget that.
There you go. And it launched at 7 p.m. Eastern. Interesting. But yeah, no, just that 9779, Brinkus meaning burning or blaze, Sirius, the burning or blazing star. Unreal, man. Unreal. That's really all I had to share for today's stream. You know, just going back to the dog themes, we've talked about the tennis connections with the love for a while, the zeros. Don't forget that Tyrese Halliburton, really the face of the Indiana Pacers at the moment. He wears number 0. And then you have another player, Benedict Mathurin, who wears 00. He went to Arizona. Arizona founded on Valentine's Day. Then we talked about TJ McConnell and Timothy McVeigh. He also went to Arizona. All that kind of stuff. I'm going to have to look more into his sister or whatever, right? She just signed with, she signed with Phoenix, huh? She signed with Arizona in the WNBA. So, like, oh my God, out of all the teams, really? But anyways, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's other things you want to branch off on, but, that's just, those were essentially the visuals that I had prepared for the audience today.
It's just one last thing to go with what you just shared with the 9/7 date. If you go to this year 9/7, so you measured from his last 9/7, but if you go forward to the next, which is the blood moon this year, it's 38 again. Three months, okay. 3 months, 8 days, or it's a span of 3 months, 8 days, or it's 14 weeks and 2 days. There you go with the 214.
Wow.
So he died on 214 day left in the year with 14 weeks and 2 days before the blood moon. So
hold on a second. My monitor is kind of lagging on me for a second. Apologies, guys. Hold on just a second. Let's see, stop share. Why is it doing this? Would you mind showing your screen with that 38s again?
Yeah, I have it up.
Okay. Yeah, my bad.
So yeah, you can see that if you go from, yeah.
You know what it is? It's also, okay, you included the end date. Man, it was 1 day off. Notice that it's 14 weeks and 2 days.
Yep.
See that?
Yep. Again, with the 14/2/214.
The same numbers over and over again. If you don't include the end date, what do you get as well? You get 99 days going back to September 9th.
Yeah.
Which I believe was the first date or the first episode, which is also Adam Sandler's birthday, going back to our last live stream. So
I could have swore I just saw a 99 too. What was that? John. Oh, his name equals 137 too.
Well, yeah, I thought that's why you brought it up earlier.
I forgot about that though. I forgot about it. But you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
What's up?
It equals 137 and 160. What's 160?
What is 160?
So, okay. again, I told you Trump's assassination attempt was on 137. Okay. And another
At
thing,
6/11.
I might as well just bring this up from my slides from earlier because this is also a big point.
Yeah.
Is the same day that these bombs had to be defused yesterday in Germany, these World War III or these 3 World War II bombs, you had this guy taking office as the president of South Korea. Well, he took office yesterday. Well, this guy is clearly connected to Trump and the assassination. I'll show. This is crazy. This guy, the same year Trump had assassination attempt, he had an assassination attempt. Again, remember, he just became the president also, just like Trump became the president. But it was exactly from his assassination attempt to Trump's 6 months, 11 days.
Wow.
And remember, Trump's assassination attempt was at 6/11.
Notice that it was on the 79th Meridian West.
Yep.
Going back to the 79. Sorry, I didn't want to get you off topic, but the other one too.
That's a good point. And then, so not only that, but if you go from, remember, we've been talking about 6/11 again, June 11th coming up. Yeah. That's Trump's Martian birthday, his 42nd Martian birthday when war equals 42. But if you go from this Korean president's assassination attempt to June 11th, it's 1/16 or 1/160. Well, what's
wow. Well, and Kodi, would you mind going back to your calculator really quick?
Yeah.
So assassination is also 191. That's the 43rd prime, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's 43 as well, assassination.
Exactly. So and 43 is the 14th prime. Dead equals 14.
Yeah, and this guy's the 14th.
Exactly.
This guy's the 14th president.
Exactly. That's where I was going with that. So assassination 199, the 43rd prime. It's also 43. 43, the 14th prime, and he's the 14th.
Right.
Wait, isn't Pope Leo the 14th?
Yep. And Pope Leo's born on the 14th, and Trump's born on the 14th.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Oh. Holy smokes, man.
Now, 14 is huge because, well, like you said, dead equals 14, like so many ciphers. But 14 is also, if you go to the Chaldean cipher, which is one of the oldest, purest ciphers there is, dead equals 14 in that. But what else equals 14 in that cipher?
God. There you go.
What else equals 14?
There you go.
So that automatically means that dog equals 14.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one. What was it? Man, there's always the other one I forget. But yeah, it's a big number. And again, this Chaldean cipher.
You know what else equals 14 is end.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So just another tidbit for those of you sports bettors out there. You would be blown away how many times streaks, it could be losing streaks, it could be winning streaks, it could be certain players that have scored a certain amount of points, number of games. When they start telling you so-and-so team has won 12 straight, 13 straight, they've lost 10 straight, 11 straight, whatever, keep an eye out for that 14th game, because very, very often do those streaks end at 14. The streak is dead at 14, right? So I just want to throw that out there for you guys. Make sure to keep an eye out. Like when you think of 14, think of that. A lot of times it ends at 14. So,
yep. What's interesting about this Chaldean, look, birth equals 14 and end equals 14. So wait, birth and dead equals 14 also in these ciphers. So that's like beginning and end, right? Birth and end.
Yep. And Rambo did say, like, if you add 14 together in numerology, it's 5. And Rambo has said a lot about how the number 5 is very much related to time as well.
Yep. It is because, you know, where I first picked up on this 5 time riddle, like it was when I really started decoding anyways, but there's a show called, what's it called? Umbrella Academy. And each one of the, I don't know if you know that show.
Which one? Sorry?
Umbrella Academy.
No. Where can I find that?
It's on Netflix, I think.
Oh,
but yeah, it's
hey, shout out to Marty really quick. Marty said, "Wow, the Thunder versus the Pacers is the 1 versus the 4 seed." Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice addition, Marty. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that's a good extra point to go with the 14s.
Mm-hmm.
And what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Man, I forgot now.
Well,
And now
Cody,
I got to move my computer real fast because my computer's dying.
So I want to shout out Gene Spliced as well. Thank you for bringing this up because this was something that was in the back of my head. Talking about the name, let's talk about the name of the dog for a second. John Brinkus's dog, his name was Zeppelin. Of course, it immediately makes me think of Led Zeppelin. I know I'm not the only one thinking that, but Gene Splice says Zeppelin, Black Dog, being one of the most instantly recognizable Led Zeppelin songs, called Black Dog. I'm not familiar with that particular song, but yeah, I mean, anything that comes to mind when it comes to Led Zeppelin, or shout out to anybody in the chat if you guys can share anything else. Gene also says Anubis, the dog-headed guide of the underworld in Egyptian pantheon.
Let me just. A black dog is a depression metaphor.
Really?
Can you see my screen? I don't know if you can.
Yeah. No. Sorry, I was on a different window. Hold on. Black dog can refer to a few different things. A literal black dog, a metaphorical term for depression. So his dog named Zeppelin was the one in the story that kept him alive essentially for a while by tugging on his jeans. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Gene Splice, thank you so much for adding that. Wow. Well, there's your 124 again with depression. I didn't even add that in there. Wow. Oh my God, you guys.
All right. Oh, Black Dog came out in 1971, his birth year.
Released December 2nd, 122, big satanic number.
Okay, we got to check this because he was born the same year as the song released. This is definitely the riddle here. This is a huge part of this.
That is huge. Black Dog is related to depression, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why they're talking about his dog in this story about his depression. Wow. Oh, look at that. 187 days. Oh, no. Sorry, you included the end date. Once again, 1 day off, but
hold on. 186, 6 months, 2 days. And hold on, let me make sure that was the. Yeah, it was December.
Hold on.
1970. No, hold on. I got this wrong. I got it wrong.
While you're doing that, Cody, I want to see if I can figure out what kind of dog was Zeppelin.
Oh man, it would almost be 21 weeks and 4 days, man, if it was just 2 days earlier.
What kind of dog was John Brinkus' Zeppelin?
Well,
it makes me wonder if John Brinkus's dog is a black dog.
Yeah, I know. That's did we ever see a picture of it?
What was that? Sorry.
Did they ever share a picture of it, the dog?
I'm trying to see if I can find something like that. They put in quotations, they said Brinkus recalled that his dog Zeppelin came to his, quote, rescue by tugging on his pant legs. Images, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what adds to the mystery here. They talk a lot about his dog, but I don't see one picture with Brinkus and his dog. That's not to say there's not one out there, but at least in the main search engines, I'm not seeing anything. But wow, once again, shout out to Gene Spliced on that. I mean, Black Dog directly relates to depression. Wow, that's amazing. Just reading back through the comments here. June 11th will line up with the debt clock hitting 37 trillion. 3 sevens, the 7-7 code. Black Dog starts with, okay, so Gene's saying that the song Black Dog starts with, hey, hey, mama, said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. Winston Churchill had depression, which he called the Black Dog. I did not know that. Thank you, Tim Wood, for sharing that.
Oh, really? That connects back to the war stuff.
Sven Dabs also says, I mentioned under your last video, AJ, that in Edmonton yesterday, gas was set to yeah, that's right. No, I saw that, Sven Dabs. No, that was a great addition, because we were talking about, the gas prices and the 131s in Back to the Future, and sure enough, in Edmonton, gas was literally at 131 cents. Huh. That's crazy. That's unbelievable. What does Zeppelin equal?
It equals 103. It equals Mercury.
Well, and there's your 113 again.
Yeah. Well, did you see I had another 113 too there, because if you type in John Brinkus dog Zeppelin, it equals 113 also.
And then what about Led Zeppelin? What about Led Zeppelin? Can we get away from these 124s? Oh my God, dude.
Wait, what was it that I just typed in that also equaled 124? What was it that? Depression.
Yeah, depression. Oh my God, KODI. Dude. So depression and Led Zeppelin overlap. Boom. Most basic cipher, 124. So again, this is John Brinkus and his dog Zeppelin, rescues him, and he ends up dying on the date, leaving 124 days left in the air. Seriously? I mean, I don't know how many more examples we need to show people like how blatantly obvious these love and dog connections are, but that's not to shy away from all your look. I love you. We talked about that during our Adam Sandler Love You stream, right? I love you 124. The Phoenix 124. We just talked about Arizona, founded on Valentine's Day. Unreal, dude.
I mean, John Redcorn, he just died.
That's right. John Redcorn just died, and he got married to his husband on Valentine's Day this year, right?
Yep. So John Redcorn, when did he die? When did that guy die? Did he die on the 1st, didn't he? June 1st.
I think it was. You can pull it up really quick. Well, and then think about that. John Redcorn, John Brinkus.
Yeah, right.
Donald John Trump. There's a lot of Johns popping up recently. You got John Cena.
John Cena is a big part of this because he has the same birthday as what's his name? Timothy McVeigh.
Oh, it's Timothy John McVeigh, right?
But did you James, I think.
Oh, okay. I might be thinking of TJ McConnell then. I think he's Timothy John.
Did you see the actor that originally played John Redcorn also died tragically in a car accident, and his birthday was September 11th?
Dude, what?
And then this guy, Jonathan Jones, who just died, he took over, and he died on June 1st. So they both died tragically. And John Redcorn equals I love you. And so really what I told you guys and on your stream dude. Like a few days before this day, you know, it really just played out perfectly. You had you know, John Brinkus and then John Redcorn.
Yeah, no, in our last live stream, you guys, make sure to go back and watch the Love You stream that Cody and I did specifically. It was themed around the stand-up special called Love You by Adam Sandler. And we talked a lot about the 124s. A lot. And Cody, I'll have to go back and maybe try to find a snippet when you then started talking about, I'm keeping an eye on May 31st. And sure enough, May 31st is the death date of John Brinkus. And then what happens? What, the next day? Now you have John Redcorn, who died. And he got married this year on 12/4. Or you know what I mean? 2/14.
Here it is, bro.
Him and his dog. Wait, is that Brinkus?
Yep.
Black dog. There you go. I mean, you know, a lot of people would probably be like, well, that's why he named him Zeppelin. And, you know, Zeppelin has a song Black Dog, but we know it goes way deeper than that. That's, oh my God, man.
Hold on a second here. I'm going to measure from the day he posted this. I'm just always intrigued to see what the measurement would be.
Oh, for sure. Me too.
Oh, it's the 124th week since he posted it.
Dude.
So, you know, when you end your 123rd week, it means you're starting your 124th week.
Exactly. Woo. I've been doing this for a while, man, not nearly to the level of how you code things. This is why I love connecting with people like you, because it really helps give me additional perspective and challenges me to start upping my game a little bit. But man, I thought there would come a day where things wouldn't surprise me anymore, but it's just every day is just another massive surprise when it comes to this stuff, dude. That is amazing. Yeah. 123 weeks on the nose. Wow.
I mean, you're starting your 124th week exactly. So you're just starting it, right?
Yep.
And it just makes me wonder, so wait, the 124th week would be on the 7th. So we'll see if something connects to that in a few days. But I mean, again, just to reiterate, guys, he died on the day leaving 2/14, like Valentine's Day, right? I love you equals 124. His dog was named Zeppelin after Led Zeppelin, I assume. Led Zeppelin 124. I love you 124. John Redcorn died a day after that. His name equals 124. And he died of depression. John Brinkus equals 124.
And Redcorn got married to his husband on Valentine's Day this year.
Yeah, really, this all connects back to the Pope, really. This is still rituals really overarching with the Pope. That's what this, I think, is still all like going back to. Like, it's because the 214s, the 124s, man, I have to think more about what's up with that combination, but there's definitely, like you said, the Phoenix even equals 124.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they love that, the Phoenix. They love the Phoenix. It's a big symbol. Oh man, but yeah, you're right. That just, whoops, I'm on the wrong screen, but that just blew my mind again. You know, I do this all the time, but still it blows my mind when that thing happens, you know?
Yeah. You know, hey, I just thought of this too, bro. Back to ZRG TV. Thank you for mentioning this. I just put it up on the ticker. Elon Reeve Musk Hadelman equals 124. I'm assuming that's Elon Musk's full name, or Haldeman. Is that his full name?
Does he have an extra name? I didn't know he had an extra name.
Oh, hold on. Elon Musk full name. Let's see. I'm not sure what the Handelman or whatever. Okay. I'm not sure what the Handelman part is, but besides the point, I was thinking more about this with Elon Musk too, because one of the, in one of my first streams about love, right? That this is probably my 7th or 8th one now at this point, where I pointed out a tweet that Musk put out where it said love is the answer. And I'm pretty sure that I put that one in the video I titled Love is the Answer. But he put out a tweet sometime last year saying love is the answer. But then when we think about the dog themes, well, what with his black eye, black dog, black eye, he was also wearing a black hat that said Doge for Dogecoin, right? So you have the whole dog Doge connection and the whole black dog connection now. Once again, shout out to Gene. What was it? I remember you, Gene. So Gigi says Haldeman is mom family name, grandfather Dr. Joshua, the Nazi eugenist. Okay. But yeah, no, I just want to throw that out there too. I mean, Musk is talking about love is the answer. He's got dog on his hat. He's got the black eye. We just talked about the black dog and Zeppelin. Oh my God, man. We might have to do a part 2 on this at this point. That's wild.
Yeah. Did you see what I did with the measurement?
I didn't.
So
Sorry,
I've been talking about June 11th, but look.
Yeah. Oh, there's your 214 again. So wait,
that's the June 10th or June 11th.
What was January 21st? What was this?
That was the day he posted
the post.
This.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Dogs are family.
Dogs are family. Okay, so for anyone that caught my segment with Marcellus today, here's a pic of Zeppelin, my dog that saved me. For anyone that didn't see it, go check out my guy Marcellus Wiley and his new show, Never Shut Up.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure this guy's tied into it as well.
Well, yeah, because when I was reading the articles, they were really only quoting Marcellus Wiley because apparently he was like his kind of co-host with a lot of this stuff. November 30th, there's your 113. Yeah, let's take a look at from the day he died. Okay, 183, 26 weeks, 101, 26 prime, 101 Dalmatians. There's your dog connection.
Well, that's right in the middle of his age, because anytime you hit the 183, that means it's 183 days after his birthday if you span it, and 183 days before his next.
Yeah.
So that has to have something to do with it.
Well, you know, I really don't want to get off topic here, or like, you know, call this a stretch or a reach. But when I think of 183 or 182, to your point, I think of Blink 182.
Yeah.
And did you know that Blink 182 has a very, let's just say, non-public album called Dogs Eating Dogs?
No.
Yeah, pull that up really quick. Just type in Blink 182 Dogs Eating Dogs. And I'd be curious to see what the release date of that was. Like I said, I'm not trying to go down a whole different rabbit hole, but yeah, so to celebrate the 182nd day of 2020, that's when it came out during COVID. December 18th, 2012. Oh, okay. I don't know that. Maybe I misread what that was saying, but not much else to connect it to just with the dog themes. But when I think of 182.
Oh, look at that.
Oh. Alternate number of the beast.
That's Trump's.
Oh, yeah. 40. Oh, my God, dude.
Again, I told you this is probably connected to Trump's, maybe his next, you know what, on his life. Huh.
Mm-hmm. That's wild, bro.
And don't forget, Trump is, in the Chinese astrology, he is a dog.
That's right. Wasn't it like the firing or like the flaming dog or something?
Yeah, he's a fire dog, yeah. Basically Sirius.
I wonder what dogs eating dogs equals. Dogs eating dogs.
Equals Trump's birthday in 2 ciphers. 146 and 614 in standard.
Well, there you go. There's your 172. Again in Francis Bacon, going back to Jordan. Unbelievable. Don't forget that Tom DeLonge, you know, he's known for being a big space nut, you know, so kind of ties into that astrology piece.
The thing is, when I capitalized, I didn't capitalize that, so the actual value of the actual thing is 224.
I mean, we're just going off the cuff, right? We're just kind of taking a look at connections as we're talking about it. I mean, how does Blink-182 connect to all this? All I'm saying is that it just comes to mind because they're like my favorite band of all time. And we were just talking about 182 for a second. And I was like, oh yeah, they have an album called Dogs Eating Dogs. So
I just want to check this Marcellus Wiley thing. That's a little bit more.
There's your 303.
Marcellus Wiley equals Valentine's Day, huh?
Does it really? Oh, I didn't notice that.
In 1 cipher, 200.
Okay. The 200. Interesting.
I'm also seeing this 266 come up.
Yeah, we know about that 266. I mean, Pope Francis, going back to the Pope themes, 266th Pope. Oh, there you go. John Brinkus, Dog Zeppelin 266. Interesting.
I mean, it is interesting that his full name equals John Brinkus, his dog Zeppelin. I mean, equals the guy he posted that about, you know.
Well, and I don't mean to make it racial, but, you know, Marcellus Wiley is a black gentleman.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of ties right into Zeppelin, the black dog, going back to Led Zeppelin.
I mean, think about it, though. A dark-skinned person, his friends probably call him dog, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that is not far-fetched. That's for sure. He went to St. Monica Catholic. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, you know, hey Cody, I got to wrap this up. I think we went a little bit over than what we originally planned on doing. I think we said between an hour and a half. So we're coming close to that hour and a half mark.
Yeah.
Let's just circle back with the comments here really quick, see if there was anything else worth touching on. Yep, Sven Dabs, good point. 616 is the alternate number of the beast. You know, keep that in mind.
Oh man.
Right, because we were talking about that 616. Okay. ZRG TV says, makes me think about chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water studio album by Limp Bizkit. Hot dog. Interesting.
Holy, hold on a second, man. I think I found another big part of this. Marcellus Wiley's birthday is 214 days before Brinkus.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. And look, it's 7 months and 2 days, like Brinkus's birthday. Oh, and bro, Marcellus. Wiley.
Yep. Yeah, there you go again.
There's your Mars. There's your Mars in war. All is fair in love and war, right?
I mean, can you believe it though? Again with the 214, 124, 2. Yeah.
Dude. Well, you were saying it in our last stream that it's like all the anagrams of 214, 142. I mean, it is everywhere. Huh. All is fair in love and war, 99, huh? We were talking about 99 earlier.
Yeah, but another one that's interesting is, look at that.
Oh, you're 225. Okay.
Now, when Elon Musk posted, so I know you didn't see this, but Elon Musk posted best World War III song ever, and he posted it's the final countdown.
Hmm.
And he posted this on June 11th.
Oh my God. And that's a play off of the song The Final Countdown by Occupy Mars. Is that the connection?
Yeah. Well, Occupy Mars is is the shirt that Elon Musk was wearing the day that Trump did it. So did you know that when Trump went back to Butler after he got his assassination attempt at 6/11, he went back there and he had a moment of silence at 6/11.
Well, because that was the reported time of the shooting, right?
Right. But they wanted it to be like in your face, like 6/11. You know, they wanted it to be in your face. And also, Elon Musk was wearing the Occupy Mars shirt right there behind him that same day, right? And look at what Mars ritual equals in gematria, 6/11.
Would it be the same if you capitalize the R in ritual?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this Latin cipher doesn't take into account.
Right. Yeah, the capital or lowercase doesn't matter, right?
Yep. And then I found out today that if you type in the word because Trump was meeting with Merz from Germany, and this guy he posted that Elon Musk posted this guy is German. He's a German. And he met today, Trump did, with Merz, the German chancellor, and Merz sounds like Merz, which is March in German, and Merz equals 6/11.
Hey, really quick, Cody, since you have your screen up, pull up, if you can, pull up when Elon Musk tweeted, love is in the air, or love is the answer, is what he said.
Okay, hold on.
Then we can kind of wrap it up on this. Let's just see.
Elon love Musk. Is the answer?
Yeah, love is the answer tweet. There we go. So that was back on October 7th of last year. So still within a year.
Well, what I was going to also say is if you type in what Elon Musk posted, it's the final countdown. It equals 225, just like all's fair in love and war.
Wow. And
that's a big number this year because that's the year we're in.
2025, exactly.
Love is the answer. It equals, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I could say about it, but let me see let me just measure from the day he posted that, then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
October 7th. That's the anniversary of Putin. That's Putin's birthday.
Yeah, it's also Sean's birthday. Widow's son. Shout out, Sean.
Shout out to Sean, yeah. But so he posted a love is the answer on the guy who starts war's birthday. Love and war. There you go.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even make that connection. Yeah, so he died on the 31st. 237, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Actually, no, it's he's 238. What is it about 237? Is that a prime? I forget.
Well, if you go from they posted that to August or to June 11th, it's 8 months 4 days, which is the gematria of it.
There you go.
And that's the 8-4 is also big, but also if you do the span, it's 248 days. President Donald Trump equals 248. So that's all I see there. But I'm trying to think. How. I wonder how.
Go back to measure it from the date that Rocco died. That was May 29th. The dog, once again, May 29th, 234. Okay. Well, look at that. 33 weeks, 3 days. Now we're going back to our 333s. Don't forget, Musk with his Dogecoin hat and stuff that he wears. The black hat. Going back to the black dog,
Well, the Dogecoin thing is big. I mean, because Dogecoin has been big in the crypto community for a long time. I know that because I've been in crypto for years now. That's how I got into gematria. I got into gematria as I got into crypto.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, one more idea. Let's take a look at when Dogecoin first came out. Was there like a founding date of Dogecoin? Sorry,
I think
that
there
sounded
is.
weird.
Yeah.
Dogecoin. Initial
December 6th.
release. There's your 126. $137 months.
Yeah.
And
Oh, look at that.
25
Moon
days.
phases.
My head's spinning at this point, bro.
So if you measure in moon phases from Dogecoin release to the day that Brinkus died, it's 142 exactly. No extra days.
And it's also 137 months back to our 137, 33rd prime. John Brinkus equals 137. But you, what was it? It also said 137 and 25 days. We're in the year 25. 187 days after the anniversary. We touched on that as well.
That'll be June 11th.
Oh, okay. There we
But
go.
yeah, I mean, that landed perfectly. I don't know how that would really connect with Brinkus, but
Well, Brinkus and the dog
right, yeah.
being connected with his story about depression and Doge dog. You know what I
The
mean?
guy who created this is Billy Marcus.
Marcus, there's your Mars again. Marcellus Wiley. Mars.
Yeah, you'll see that the MAR is so big with stuff, really. Mary,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mars.
Well, and don't forget, we talked about Mary in our last live stream about Adam Sandler.
Yep.
How he plays Happy Gilmore, and Gilmore means servant of Mary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Mar is also Mar-a-Lago. Think about it.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, we talked about that on Tuesday with Rambo as well.
And we just had somebody try to climb over Mar-a-Lago and go after Kai Trump. The guy wanted to marry. That's another Mar.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy tried to climb over Mar-a-Lago to marry Trump's granddaughter, and I had just talked about Trump's granddaughter. She's coded. She turned 666 on June 11th. But wow. Mar is also a reference to sea, because I believe Mar is an ocean. I think in something Mar is an ocean or something. So the word Mar or mare, and think about mare like a MAR is another reference to a horse. And Mars is horse racing was dedicated to Mars. So the MAR is all over. Like it's a very big thing, really, to think if you think about it. You have Mary, both of the girls associated with Jesus is Mary Magdalene and Mary, his mother, both with the MAR. So,
well, and for me, one of the biggest mind-blowing observations you added today was you measure from Marcellus Wiley's birthday to John Brinkus's birthday. What was it, 124 or was 142 days?
No, I think it was 214.
214. There you go. Exactly. Unbelievable, man.
I mean, I almost have to go back and watch this stream and put it into slides so people can see how it all,
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's why I love doing this, right? I mean, it's not just us two bouncing ideas off of each other and finding these things off the cuff. I mean, but it just goes to show when you know what to look out for and how to measure things. Just mind-blowing how quickly you can find these same numbers over and over and over again. Especially in line with the people that they mention in the stories, the dogs they mention in the stories, the names of the, these people. Yeah, shout out to who was it? Gene Splice talking about Black Dog and Zeppelin, and sure enough, Zeppelin is a black dog. We found that on the post, and started measuring from there. It's just amazing, man. I had a blast, shooting the shit with you a little bit and just finding more and more that we can continue to add to these observations. So I just want to say thank you again, Kodi, as always. I look forward to connecting with you again on Tuesday with Rambo every week. Just for those of you guys that know, make sure to tune in every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. We usually try to keep it within an hour and a half, just like today's live stream. And thank you again to everybody who likes and subscribes to the channel and to the video. Make sure to go follow Decoding with Kodi. I'll make sure to put his links in the description of the video once we wrap this up. But yeah, Kodi, I'll let you close this out, brother.
Yeah, again, thanks again for having me on. Keeps my mind fresh. I'm doing my own decodes, and then I'm helping you and working on stuff with you. It just keeps my mind going and fresh, helps me connect more things. And I really appreciate being able to do this with you. And I thought this stream was pretty mind-blowing. I think hopefully everyone was able to follow along and see how we put that all together. And yeah, just amazing. And thank you, Sven Dabs. Thank you, everyone in the chat. And yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. Let's get him up to 1,000 subs here. You'll be getting close here soon, I think, if we keep pushing it. So thanks everyone for supporting me, and thanks for supporting all the other decoders. But I love you all, everyone who's still in the chat, and yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks so much.
That's what it's about, right, Kodi? It's all about love. Lean into love, you guys. I thoroughly feel that we are all living our own version of a love story. It's not the same story, but it is all themed around love. And I think safe to say that the world we live in tries to keep us away from that as much as possible. And, you guys would be amazed how much you can grow and the people around you can grow by leaning into love. So I love you like a brother, Kodi. Seriously, thank you so much for all of your love and support. And this will certainly not be the last time that we connect. If anything, at the latest, I'll see you on Tuesday. But I know you and I are chatting pretty much every day at this point. So,
yep, for sure, man.
But all right, folks. Until next time, ballers. Thanks again so much for joining. Make sure to hit that like and sub on the way out. Share the video where you see fit. And Kodi, thanks again, brother. I'll catch you soon. Love you, man.
Yeah, love you too, man. Have a good rest of your day.
You too, brother.
Everyone else, much love.
Take care, guys.